Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video we're going to be looking at the RG Nano, which is from Anbernic. It's a very tiny handheld device. These are the colours that you can get. You've got blue, purple and magenta. There's not really a heck of a lot on the box, just the usual stuff. That's really it. But before we actually open up the box, from Droix.co.uk, this is also something I got. It just came free with it. It's like a little carry case you can put it into, which is kind of cool I guess, but I'm not really a big fan of the colour. But yeah, someone pointed out to me it does look like a burger, funny enough. It's a burger with cheese. Anyway, that's quite fascinating, thanks for that. So in the box, when you open up, you're greeted with this. It's got the instruction manuals included. Now this is actually quite important to have a little read through as well. There's some shortcuts here for volume, brightness and a few other things, zooming in and zooming out, aspect ratios and that type of thing. So definitely something you want to maybe pay attention to. You can also add your own ROMs via the USB data cable, which is included in the box if you want to add your own ROMs. There are lots of ROMs already added. There's thousands already included in the version I got. You can also sort of change the time that's on the device as well. So let's put that to the side now. So in the box is also this little keyring. You can see here there's got this little keyring thing that you attach to the actual device if I can get it out. So this is basically just a little keyring. Now I'm not really sure you're going to be using this as a keyring function, to be honest, and put it on your keys and dangle it in your pocket, because it's most likely going to get really scraped and damaged. So let's have a quick look at the device. So it's nicely packaged in this sort of rubber membrane thing. And we've got the unit itself, and it looks absolutely lovely. It really is solid. It's sort of metal framed, which is really nice. It's absolutely solid. It seems really good quality. But we'll put that to the side a second. We'll see what else is in the box. You've got your charging cable in this sort of long box here. So I think there's also a USB device inside this as well. There's a charge cable. Yeah, there's a charge cable. I believe this is an extension for maybe headphones. Yeah, it's like a headphone jack. So there's only one sort of connection at the top of the device. So if you want to use headphones, you need to use this sort of adapter. I guess that's quite good that it's being included. And you've got your charge cable, which I believe you can use this to connect to your PC to transfer ROMs that way if you want to add more ROMs. It's really up to you, I guess. But yeah, that's quite good that all that's been included in the box. Yeah, let's have a quick look at the actual device. We'll try and zoom in a little bit. So it does look nice. It is very, very small, and I found it really a little bit awkward to actually play the games. You've got this kind of start and select or select and start button here. The D-pad itself seems quite sort of mushy. It's not too bad. It's certainly responsive, and the buttons are quite mushy as well. And then you've got this part down the bottom. That's not actually a speaker here. It's actually just false. The speaker is actually here. This is the speaker unit here. This is where you would put your keyring. Not really much else. You've got the shoulder buttons here. Not entirely sure what games you're going to use them with. There's nothing else on the back. It's just completely screwed down. And obviously you've got your charging unit here, which does light up when it's charging, which is nice. But anyway, let's get this unit on. Oh, wait a minute, obviously I forgot. The memory card is included in here. It's a 64 gig. And this is your on-off switch, which is here. So to turn it on, you obviously hold that down. And the unit then boots up. It doesn't take too long to boot up, but usually I think it boots into the clock setting here, which you can obviously set if you want to. You want to get it playing, you just press any button, I think, and it will just boot into the actual game system. So hopefully this will actually show up. We'll maybe need to zoom in slightly to be able to see it. Okay, when you actually first connect it, this is the look that you get, and it's absolutely horrendous. So you can change that, and I would highly recommend that you do. There's a few different options you can change it to. For me, this one was unbelievably difficult to read. My eyes are, obviously I wear contact lenses, and I was struggling a little bit to actually read them. And I think if your eyesight is pretty poor, you're really going to struggle with this device overall, I think. And if you've got really large hands, then you might find it a problem actually playing any of the games at all. Now before I switch, you can obviously use the L1 and R1 to switch between the options at the top of the screen here. You can probably barely see it. You've got settings, RetroArch, media, where you can play some music, which I'm not going to do. If you really want to add music, use it as an iPod type of thing, then you can do that. There are game folders. There are actually some ports, I believe, in there as well, like Outrun and a few other weird things. All your emulators. Now this kind of works up to PlayStation 1, but it does struggle in a few of the games, but that's about as maximum I think as you're ever going to get out of this little device. You've got your applications here, different things that you can do. Yeah, you've got the different skins that you can choose, and there's a user manual. But yeah, what I'm going to do is try and change the skin of this so that you can actually see this better. And we'll jump into a few games and I'll give you my opinion as we go. Okay, if you can probably see here, this is a shortcut. When you press that down, you power down, volume, set launcher. This is the one we're going to get into. That's basically it. Volume, brightness, and that. So this is the one you want to choose. Okay, so at this point, you just press the A to select set launcher retrophy. I don't know, or retrof. And then you can have the option of a different sort of layout, which is a vast improvement to what you have by default. I'm not sure why they have that as default, because it's absolutely horrible. So yeah, once you change that, you then have a better layout like that, where you can then obviously see all the games so much easier and choose the games as well. I'm not sure why they put that the default as bad. Now you've got an extra option here as well. Once you've sort of done that, then you can change the theme. You can see here you've got different themes you can actually choose from. I'm not sure which one is the best, to be honest, but yeah, there's a few different options. You can really just go through them at your leisure and choose one that you like best. But yeah, let's have a quick bash at some games and let's see the performance of this little unit. Okay, so we'll start with Game Boy. I reckon after playing through it a little bit, this is probably the one that was it's probably best suited for. There's quite a lot of different sort of games you can play here. There's a few sort of Mega Man games and stuff, but we'll jump into one of them, I guess. But for me, yeah, playing through this is definitely what this is best for, but the screen is absolutely tiny. So this is obviously sort of Game Boy, but you can see here you can sort of change the aspect ratios by holding down the select button and up. Oh, up does a screenshot. Down you can do the stretched, scaled. I'm not really sure what suits best, to be honest. There's a lot of different other shortcuts for brightness as well, but that's the main ones you want to look at as your aspect ratio. But yeah, let's have a quick start of the game. I mean, the games actually play fine, it's just that the screen itself is really, really tiny. I mean, I'm not really sure, if you've got really bad eyesight, this will be an absolute nightmare for you. Not sure of the button mapping layout either, but anyway. Yeah, you can just about see it. It plays fine, but yeah, sometimes if you're playing on maybe a more complicated game, you might get in the way and press the wrong buttons, I guess, at times. But yeah, anyway, you can actually save and load your progress as well. There is an option in the screen here where you can actually save your progress and then obviously load as well. But if you want to sort of get out, there's obviously the aspect ratio here as well. This will differ depending on what game you're playing too. But if you want to get out, just press that, or you can just press start and select at the same time as well. But yeah, I think Game Boy definitely and Game Boy Color are the ones that are best. There's thousands and thousands of ROMs on here, so I'm not going to scroll through. There's as far as I could see, there was no search function to try and find a game. I couldn't find it anyway, but there might be one there, I guess. Lots of Pokemon games, games from 2000. So not really sure what I really want to jump into, but there are tons and tons of games here. I'm sure you'll recognise most of these. Yeah, these are obviously dodgy ROMs that have been sort of added here, but yeah, it's pretty cool nonetheless. We've got these games. It's really almost a plug and play. And for me, I'm not going to bother adding any more ROMs to it. And this seems okay, I guess, if you want to sort of change the aspect ratio. Oh, that just jumps out, that's not good, is it? So yeah, that button, select button doesn't work there, so I guess, let's see what start does, and that won't work either. So the shortcuts don't really work for that, you would have to jump into the sort of settings here and do that. But oh yeah, aspect ratio, scaled, stretched, I don't know. You need to set this for every single game that you're, or every one that you're actually playing. See, obviously if you're doing scaled, obviously it makes the screen a heck of a lot smaller, but it gives it a better sort of look rather than being stretched. But honestly, this is going to be a personal preference and what you actually want to look for. I have to say the game's play fine. I just think if you're going to struggle if you get bad eyesight and you have sort of large hands, it's probably going to be a bit of a problem for you. Yeah, I'm probably brutalising this game a little bit, but yeah, cool game. Oh, I don't want to be down there. Anyway guys, let's jump out to another game. Interestingly, obviously we've got Game Boy Advance here too, but yeah, that has a sort of long screen, so I'm not sure how that's going to sort of work. Let's have a quick look at Tekken Advance. So just jumping into the first game we see here. Resume game. Yeah, obviously it remembers your progress from the last time you played as well. See here I'm using this like stretched, because if you use this scale it's just going to give you massive borders, which isn't ideal, and obviously stretched in like that, it's certainly more playable, I think. Is it perfect? It seems a little bit of slowdown. Not sure if that was in the original Game Boy Advance game. But yeah, it certainly makes it a wee bit more playable, I guess. There's no doubt there's something really cool about this little device, but yeah, is it practical to really be playing games? It might be actually quite cool if you maybe take it on the bus, or maybe if you're waiting 5 minutes for something you can just bring out your pocket, because it will fit in your pocket. You can see the size of it is absolutely tiny. So I'd just do a quick comparison while we're sort of here. This is the Mayu Mini, which is probably about the closest I could find to it, and this is the little Nano is completely dwarfed. Look at that. And I think this Mayu Mini is definitely a better option, and it still fits in your pocket absolutely fine and plays games amazingly, and the battery life is fantastic. Whereas the battery life on this is probably about 2 hours. It's got a nice screen on it, there's no doubt about it, it's got a nice screen, so I'll leave the stats on the screen if you're really interested. You can see obviously all the angles are absolutely fine on it, so it's certainly absolutely fine screen wise. It's just so small it's going to be a nightmare to play games on. So let's jump into NES. There's lots of Contra games, Double Dragon. I'm not sure what kind of strange way these are sorted. They're obviously not alphabetical order, it's just some really odd order that they've sorted. Not really much you can do about it to sort of change it, but you see there's tons and tons of games. And the actual sound of this unit is really fine. Obviously all the sound comes out of here, but the sound is pretty impressive for such a small unit. I've certainly not had any massive issues myself playing the games, just sometimes some games you really struggle to see or read text, I guess, but playing games is actually okay, but playing them for any length of time, I guess it's going to be a little bit of a strain on your hands and fingers. Okay, moving on to SNES. There's plenty of stuff on here, that's for sure. If you're buying this, you really wouldn't have to do much with it. You could just jump straight into it. I'm not sure what game I'm going to pick here though. You can sort of quickly shift through the games by pressing the L1 and R1 button to find the game that you want to play. But yeah, it really would be helpful if there's some kind of search function in here. I've got this obviously scaled to proper, but you obviously got those massive borders. I don't know, it's one of those personal preferences. Do you want to stretch it and make it look a bit weird, or do you want it tiny and you can't see it? I don't know. Certainly I found it kind of tricky to pull off some of the sort of, obviously the special moves. Probably blind luck if I do sort of pull off the special moves. Yeah, it's possible, it's just a little bit tricky. Oh damn. Okay, moving on to Game Gear, and there's a good selection of titles here. Obviously all the sort of Sonic ones are at the top, I guess. By default we'll just click on to Classic Sonic on the Game Gear. So there's a little bit of flickering on that, that's definitely on the screen as well. It's not just the camera doing that, that is happening on the screen as well. I can't remember if that was there when I played it. It's been so long since I played it originally on the Game Gear. Okay, so I'm not going to play through everything. Sega Master System is fine. Sega Genesis is absolutely fine as well. Turbo Graphics, there's loads of games on here too. They all play fine. It's just the same sort of issues we have with a lot of the other ones. Atari Lynx, that's got a really stretched screen. There's not a lot of games here to sort of choose from. but it's okay, it's just really quite blocky. But Neo Geo Pocket, interesting sort of selection. This one actually played really well. Let's have a quick bash at the Metal Slug, which is fun. I like how it remembers your save point, and you can just jump straight back into the game. That is very, very handy indeed. You can just jump straight into whatever game you left off at in whatever format, which is really handy. Because here, this one looks really good, plays really well. I mean, if you're buying this, there's tons of ROMs on here. You're going to be right at home. Now let's have a look at PlayStation 1. This is definitely the limit to what this little unit can play. But interestingly, obviously in this format, it's missing all the sort of ports and ROMs. I don't know where we can get access to that, whether there's some kind of side way to get into it. But anyway, let's have a quick look at PlayStation before I sort of jump back to the ports and stuff, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. There's a few sort of games included. I'm not sure, some of the games kind of struggled a little bit to playing, some were okay. If we sort of jump into Bloody Roar, for example, that one can struggle in a lot of devices. So yeah, be wary. PlayStation's probably about maximum you're ever going to get out of this at best. Some games will not run ideally. You see there's a lot of break up in the music. But it certainly runs okay. Just beware that you'll probably suffer a lot of slowdown in a few different games if you play it. I certainly find it a little bit tricky to sort of utilise the button, especially in your fighting games. I keep pressing two buttons at the same time, which isn't ideal. Let's see, it actually runs alright, I guess. Okay guys, just having a quick bash at, no pun intended, Crash Bandicoot 2. And this one seems to play alright. There's no massive issues at all. I'm just kind of concerned that sometimes these games need intricate movements and button pressing that you will probably struggle with, and it might cause a lot of frustration. Now these games are frustrating at the best of times, so I can only imagine that you will probably die more than normal when you're playing this game, because it really is tricky to get the right button press, find the platforms, the right manoeuvrability, and yeah, I definitely struggled. I'm blaming the D-pad on that. Okay, something definitely of note is I've found that the unit certainly heats up quite a lot. I don't know whether it's to do with the sort of metal casing. It certainly absorbs all the heat quite a lot. It's very, very warm to touch, so if you're playing it for any length of time, you'll probably notice that it does heat up quite a lot. Now I don't know how to get into the ports from this setting. I think I'm going to have to boot to another sort of, or go back to the main theme, go back to this main launcher, which is really awful to play. However, there's a lot of different options in here that you can maybe use, that you can obviously boot into RetroArch, and you can see here this is all the same settings, but yeah, it's not the nicest to look at all. There are Pico 8 games on here you can play, and there also, as you can see here, there's Game Boy, Virtual Boy. You can jump into that. I'm not sure why you would want to do that at all, but yeah, don't press B to go back there. If you're in here, you press B to go back, it goes into a folder sort of situation. So if you want to go back, you press the start button and that'll exit. So I'm not really sure why that's set up like that, because that's really, really irritating. So let's jump to, where is it now? I think it's in RetroArch. So if you go to the fake 08, there's a lot of Pico 8 games here. It's probably not that clear that the games are actually included. I just kind of found them by accident, to be honest. The sound isn't great. I don't know what's going on with the sound, but it's certainly playable enough. Also, while we're here, might as well have a look at the arcade games. There's a few different options here. You've got MAME, and you've got Fireburn Neo stuff. And see, I'm really struggling to navigate through the folders here. In the Hunt, oh, that'll probably struggle. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's have a look at In the Hunt. I'm not sure that's going to play too well. Yeah, it's definitely struggling, as you can hear that with the sort of sound. I think I've played a couple arcade games and a few of them definitely struggled. This one's probably a later kind of arcade game, and I just don't think this unit's powerful enough to be able to play it at all. Yeah, it's absolutely struggling like crazy. Don't know what kind of frame rate this is, but it's like 1. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Cannot play that. So yeah, you're going to find that. I guess they're hidden for a reason, the fact that they are practically unplayable. Keep pressing B to go back. There are ports as well, which I'll maybe quickly show one of them. Where are we? Yeah, so there's a few different ports in here. Let's have a look at the Outrun one, which seemed to run okay. You can see you can hardly read this text here. I'm sure it's not coming across well on the screen, but it's kind of not ideal. The game seems to play alright though. Sounds alright, plays okay I guess. But I'm certainly struggling to hold this in any degree of comfort when you're actually playing. Okay guys, so my final thoughts on the RG Nano. Now there's no doubt it is a very cool device. It looks really nice. I'm pretty sure some people will buy it and maybe use it as a keyring, I guess. But I think this would get a lot of damage to the screen if you're using that and it's in your pocket along with your keys, for example. So yeah, I'd be wary that this would get damaged quite badly, but it's very cool. You could probably put this in your pocket if you're travelling, and obviously the little case that it comes with, and it wouldn't take up a heck of a lot of space. There's lots of games in here you could probably kill a few minutes with, but for extended play it's not the most comfortable device to play. It's a bit of an eye strain as well. The buttons are probably not ideal for maybe intricate movement and gameplay. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot going for it, but I reckon if I was going to take a device, I would probably take the Mushy Mini instead, because that is slightly bigger, but it's certainly a lot more enjoyable, a lot more playable. The performance is better, the battery life is much better as well on the Mushy Mini, whereas out of this is probably 2 to 3 hours maximum out of this little unit. It heats up quite a lot, and it's got a nice screen, no doubt about it. It's very high quality build. But honestly, I'm not sure I can actually recommend it to everyone. It's certainly not going to be for everyone. As much as it's a lovely looking device, maybe it's just a collector item for some. At £60 it is quite expensive, I guess. You can pick up a Mushy Mini for about the same as well, which I think you'll probably get more joy out of. But honestly, it is a nice device. I'm just not sure it's overly practical for actually playing games on. I think it's just one of those nice to have rather than a must have sort of game unit. I don't see anyone playing any lit games for hours on end. It's going to hurt your fingers. Obviously it's difficult to know how to hold it, where to put your fingers behind the unit as well. And yeah, if you've got big fingers, you're going to be pressing 2 buttons at once and sort of mucking up a lot. But there'll be certain games out there that this will be ideal for. Maybe playing a game like Tetris or something on it, or something that's not too demanding would be fine. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching our video. Please leave me some comments, let me know what you think of this unit. Have you picked one up? What do you think? Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.